Welcome to the Root of All Broth. Dobre došli v Korona na Salia Bouillon. I'm Kathleen Hill. Awesome Kathleen Hill. In honor of being Peace Corps Week, today's inspiration is my country of service, Bulgaria. I served as a youth development volunteer in Peace Corps Bulgaria for 2 years. And while I served there, I met so many amazing people and tried so many great foods. And today, I'm happy to share a few of my favorite dishes with you. One recipe will be the national salad of Bulgaria, Shopska Salata or Shopska Salad. And the other is my very favorite dish, pile and zele, or chicken and cabbage. When I lived in Bulgaria, I had the pleasure to live both in the mountains and by the sea. And I can honestly tell you that Bulgaria is one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. Experiencing both village life and city culture gave me the whole experience, and I'm so honored to share some of what I learned with you today. So let's get started. Okay, so like I said before, Shopska Salata is a national salad of Bulgaria, and it was created in the 1950s in Varna. It's part of a tourism campaign for the country. The 3 colors of the salad represent the 3 colors on the flag. So the white represents peace and freedom here on the flag, the green, the bounty of agriculture, and then the red is military strength and courage. So the salad represents all of beautiful Bulgaria. And we'll talk a little bit more about Bulgarian agriculture in just a minute. But first, let's get started with the salad. So the first thing you're going to do is just take a planer here and peel your cucumber. You're going to get a lot of cucumber out of 1 cucumber. So when you're buying and you're purchasing, I have 2 cucumbers if I was making for about 6 people. Okay, so now that we have our cucumber peeled, I'm going to just cut the ends off quickly. And then we're going to cut this for our salad. This salad is typically served as an appetizer, and it's served with rakia, which we happen to have some from my Bulgarian friends that live in town. They do not have to be small pieces. In fact, it can be rather large pieces of cucumber. And that's all you need to do. So we're going to go ahead and plate that cucumber first on the plate. Now that we've got our cucumber plated on the plate and we've covered the agricultural green of the Bulgarian flag, let's talk a little bit about Bulgarian agriculture. Did you know that Bulgaria produces 1.6 tons of rose oil per year? They're the top producers of rose oil in the world. And you can find that production in the Kazanluk region of Bulgaria, which is called the Valley of the Roses. So that's just a little bit of Bulgarian trivia for you. So now let's get back to our salad. I'm using vine-ripe tomatoes for this recipe, so we're going to just cut it in half. And you can cut this tomato however you like, big or small, doesn't matter, just as long as you cut it to where people can actually just eat it. And then we're going to just put it directly on the plate with our beautiful cucumber there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Here you go. So now we've got the beautiful red and green. Isn't that gorgeous? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our feta cheese. But it's not really feta. It's sirene. It's Bulgarian sirene. Now, I ordered some Bulgarian sirene on Amazon. They do have some wonderful options on Amazon to order Bulgarian cheese. It's going to say Bulgarian feta, but it's actually sirene. It's a creamy feta-like cheese. That's why it's sometimes labeled feta. There's actually a great product on Amazon that's straight from the Rodopi Mountains. That's the region I used to live in when I lived in Rakitovo. That's in the Rodopi Mountains. So you can order that. I will put that in the description. But at the grocery store, I found that Dietz & Watson actually has feta cheese. And if you look on the back, it is made in Bulgaria, which is wonderful. So this is actually sirene, and this is sheep's milk. The one that's from the Rodopi region that I found was sheep's, cow, and goat. And sirene can be a combination of the milks, or it can just be sheep or goat or whatever. So you can see we have a beautiful sirene here. So we're just going to take this sirene and we're going to top it and put a lot of that on the top of our beautiful salad here. Doesn't this look delicious? It's so salty, so creamy. So good, guys, and so simple. This is the best summertime salad. I make it all the time for my family, and everybody loves it. Before I finish up our Shopska Salata recipe, I'm going to go ahead and read some testimonials from Peace Corps volunteers. I asked them to send in some of their thoughts and remembrances. So this thought is from Brittany, and she served in Shumen. Some of my best memories of Bulgaria were spent eating home-cooked meals with my host family and colleagues. And the warmth of the food and the smiles around the table, you could viscerally feel the love. I will never forget the kindness, generosity, and endless hospitality of my Bulgarian family and friends. And our second remembrance comes from Chris, who served in Triavna. And he said, the Peace Corps changed my life and the trajectory of my life and has now become a life of public service. So those are just some nice remembrances of our time in service for Peace Corps Week. So now let's finish up our salad. Okay, so now we have our sirene, our white of the flag, the red of the flag, and the green of the flag. And how are we going to finish up this salad? Well, you take one black olive right on top. That's how they serve at a lot of restaurants. Now, when you go to a restaurant and they have Shopska, they're going to serve it with sunflower oil and balsamic vinegar, just like you see here. So they will put the vinegar and the oil on themselves. So I'll just give you an example. You just pour that oil right on top. Delicious. Okay, as much as or as little as you want. And then come back with that balsamic vinegar. Guys, doesn't that look wonderful? And now we're ready to eat. But wait, there's one more thing we have to tell you. When you have Shopska, it's always served as an appetizer or a salad like we do here in America. But it's generally served with, if you drink alcohol, rakia. Rakia is a wine that's made out of either grapes or it can be made out of plums. People make it in their backyard. This is actually some Damashno or homemade rakia that a friend of mine brought. So we're gonna go pour it up. And you would sip on that rakia, which if I could explain what rakia tastes like or smells like, I would say it smells kind of like a tequila, but honey, what would you say it tastes like?
Tequila.
A little bit like tequila, Steve says. But it has more of a grape flavor, I think. So you would sip on this and then you would cheers and you would say Nastrave. So to all my friends out there in Bulgaria, Nastrave. Like I said before, this next recipe is my very favorite. There are so many delicious recipes I've learned from so many wonderful women like Vessi, Annie, Dafinka, Svetla, Irena, Spaska, Ivanka, and Valia. All wonderful women who work hard and were wonderful to me during my service. They introduced me to dishes like banitsa, Shopska Salata, and mishmash. In the city, I learned to love sofianka. That was a hot roll filled with sirene and topped with kashkaval cheese. I also fell in love with the coffee culture and could easily get coffee on every street corner or even in the discotheque. However, this is my all-time favorite dish. So this recipe is called pile zele, that's in Cyrillic or Bulgarian, and it means chicken and cabbage. It's a wonderful, easy recipe. Even my friends that don't love cabbage love this recipe, so I just encourage you to try it at home. I've already cut the cabbage in half through the root, and now we're going to cut it down again right through the middle, because you don't want to eat that root. So we're going to cut out that root in just a minute. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now you've got 4 pieces. And now we're just going to come down here and cut out this root. And we're going to do that on all 4 sides. This one actually doesn't have a lot. I think it was mostly on that piece, so we're not going to have to cut anything off that one. And this one we're just going to cut down. You can see, get rid of that root. You don't want that root. It's really bitter. And it's not good to eat. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of take some of this cabbage and put it to the side so I can have some root on my cutting board here to chop. And we're just going to chop this cabbage. And you're going to do the same on all 4 pieces. So you just have nice chopped cabbage. Okay, so while you're chopping your vegetables, you want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. My oven is now preheated to 400, so it's ready to go. I've finished chopping my cabbage, and I'm going to go ahead and put it here in this pan. Now, the first time I had this dish was in a little cafeteria that sat in the corner of my village. And the lady that owns it would make 2 dishes a day and a couple of soups, usually tripe or tirator or something pretty traditional. But she would serve this very modestly with just a dinner roll. So that's how I'm going to serve it today. And it's absolutely delicious. I just ask everyone to try it. Okay, so we had 1 medium head of lettuce that we've chopped. Now we have 2 Patricia. I'm using Patricia tomatoes for this recipe. I'm just going to cut those up. And then we're going to put that in there with the cabbage. Don't worry about how this seems like it's really high here. Yeah, it is. And this will all cook down. The cabbage will cook down. And we're going to get that great juice that we can sop up with that dinner roll. You're going to lay the chicken right on top of it. You're going to see that in just a second. But don't worry about if it seems like that it's kind of coming up high in your bowl, because it will. When I first cooked this, I cooked this in a banitsa pan. So it has very shallow edges. I still want to find me a nice banitsa pan to have here in America, but I'm struggling to find one to order it anywhere. Okay, so we've got 2 tomatoes that we've chopped up and put in our cabbage, and then we're going to go ahead and put in the spices. Okay, I have our 2 tomatoes and our cucumber here, and this is the time that we're going to get our hands dirty, guys. We're going to go ahead and put in 3 tablespoons of paprika. And you're going to mix all of this around. So, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of paprika. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of salt. A tablespoon of fresh cracked pepper. Okay. And I like to put a little bit of red pepper flakes. Now this is my own addition because I like a little spice. Now, after that, you're going to add 3/4 cup vegetable oil. And 3/4 cup. I'm using apple cider vinegar. You can use regular vinegar if you want, distilled white vinegar. I've cooked it both ways. They taste about the same. The apple cider is just a little bit sweeter, not much sweeter at all. Actually, I tried both recently side by side, and it really just tasted exactly the same. So now it's time to get our hands dirty, guys. We're really going to get in here and mix this up. If you don't like to get your hands dirty, this is not the recipe for you. But you're going to make sure all that great oil and vinegar is really mixed up there in with the cabbage and the tomatoes. And for my friends that were yelling at the screen when I was talking about what rakia tastes like, put in the comments what you think rakia tastes like. I didn't drink it, so my husband has had it many times. My friends have had it. This is the only thing I can compare it to when I smell it, when my husband says that's what it kind of tastes like. But I know that my friends in Bulgaria and my friends in Peace Corps are going to be like, Kathleen, it tastes like this or that. So please put it in the comments. Tell me what you think it tastes like. Okay, great. So now we're going to add our chicken. Now I'm going to put my chicken in here. I use like a family pack that's like wings, thighs, and drumsticks, but you can't find those very much anymore. So I just bought packs of drumsticks and thighs. Do not use breast for this. I just don't feel like it would work good. You see how I'm saying that this lays on the top? It doesn't really like go in, but once that cabbage starts to cook down, it's gonna go lower into the pan, and then there'll be plenty of room. So here we go. So I've got my chicken. Now we're ready to go ahead and put it in the oven. When we put it in the oven, we are going to stir this periodically. It's not one of those you just leave, because you want those vegetables to be able to completely be mixed around. But what I do like to do is try to keep the chicken kind of intact, so the chicken kind of crisps on the top, and then near the end we're going to put that sauce over the chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. Okay, I'm going to put this in the middle rack of the oven. And we're going to shut that. Okay, and this is going to cook for 1.5 hours. And like I said, we're going to periodically be mixing that around. So I'll show you that when we let that set for a few minutes. Okay, so while the chicken is cooking, let's take a little 3 vafadno break or coffee break. There were coffee machines all over the streets of Bulgaria. And 3 vafadno or 3-in-1 is like a coffee drink Nestle makes. And I remember walking through like a foot of snow to go to the school that I was teaching on in Rakitovo, and stopping by the local magazine where they had a 3 vafadno machine and getting some hot coffee, and it was just the perfect drink for that cold winter weather. I love having it in my home. I ordered this on Amazon. You can find it. I'll put a link in the description if you want to order some for yourself. It's really delicious. But while we're waiting, let's read a few more testimonials from some volunteers. So this one's from Kevin, who served in Chirpan and Sofia his last year. One of the memories that still inspire me from Bulgaria was bringing Shopska Salata to potlucks and sharing chocolates on my birthday. I feel like it's part of the third goal, and I try to explain to people where the salad comes from and why it's so important. Some of my fondest food memories from Bulgaria were going to Gosti, or going to visit, spending hours eating, drinking, and dancing with people I barely knew, but feeling like I was being welcomed into the community. Sometimes it was a bit awkward, especially with the language during the first year, but there were always lots of laughter and smiles and music. I remember the very first day that we went to our village to study language, the news crew came up and asked our volunteers about what our favorite Bulgarian word was. And I only knew like 3 or 4 Bulgarian words, so I said kashkaval, which is a type of cheese. So I guess my favorite word is a cheese. Okay. So the second testimonial is from Ashley, who served in Velika Trnovo. She says, the markets were just to die for, from chestnuts to aronia berries, the best tomatoes on the planet, and beets the size of your head packed with just as much flavor. My favorite dish must have been something simple like moussaka, of course, and I definitely had a weak spot for solvuki cookies, which are like a meringue cookie. Basically, it's sugar and egg whites. They're delicious. Food was always present at every meeting or gathering and was also quite a lot to celebrate. It taught me a lot about appreciation for the culture. So it's been about 25 minutes. I'm going to take it out and stir a little bit. You're going to need 2 hands for this. It's a very heavy dish. You can see the chicken is starting to kind of brown and crisp up. And what I'm going to do is just move this cabbage around, kind of stir it around. I don't want to, again, because you don't want your cabbage to start browning and burn. You get a little burnt piece is delicious, I'm going to tell you that much. But just stir it around a little bit to get some movement in that cabbage. But I do leave the chicken on top, like I said. Okay, that's just enough movement, I think, for us. Time to put it back in. Okay, so now let's talk about another aspect of the Peace Corps that so many people don't know about, and that's love in the Peace Corps. I had a lot of friends that met their spouse in the Peace Corps, and one example of that are my friends Marissa and Sean. Marissa served in Haskovo, Sean served in Kerjali, and they met in Bulgaria as Peace Corps volunteers. After they left the Peace Corps, they actually married, and then later on adopted 3 beautiful triplets from Bulgaria. They have 3 amazing children, so their love for Bulgaria runs not only, you know, in their memories, but in their hearts and in their blood now. So it's such a beautiful example of how the Peace Corps brings the world together in ways that you never expected. Okay, so I have about 45 minutes left on my chicken. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at it. Oh yeah, it's looking beautiful, guys. Pull it out again. What you're gonna notice, oh, that cabbage smells so good. What you're gonna notice is you're gonna start to see some juice. You see that down in there? Oh yeah. Like I said, we just want to mix this around. I'm not yet moving that chicken. Just want to mix this cabbage. And like I said, you see how it's cooking down? And it's okay to have some like I said, to have some little pieces that are brown on the ends. That's all right. You just don't want it to sit too long. That's why you want to continue to stir it. Okay. Just want to get it in there, mix it around a little bit. Now I'm putting it back in. Okay, we have about 15 minutes left on the chicken. So I'm going to show you. You can see now that there's a lot of sauce. I'm going to start integrating these pieces of chicken into that sauce. You can kind of mix it around. Put a little bit of that on top of the chicken. Kind of getting it down and covering it with some of the sauce and some of the cabbage and the tomatoes. Doesn't have to go all the way down in there, but we just want to get it to know where it's really being integrated into the sauce. But I like to leave it to the end because I like my chicken to be pretty crisp. Look at that beautiful cabbage. This is the best dish, guys. So delicious. All right, put it back in for 15 minutes. Okay, we just got our pile zele out of the oven. And now we're going to, listen to that beautiful, we're going to serve it up in this bowl. First, we're going to get some of this cabbage, this beautiful chicken thigh. Ooh, guys, this is the best part. All that beautiful juice in the bottom. Oh, just love it. We're going to serve it one of these beautiful yeast rolls my husband made earlier today. There you go, my very favorite Bulgarian recipe, pile zele. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe and ring those bells for notification. If you're not part of our community yet, please subscribe and become part. We'd love to have you. Now it's time for my testimony. The Peace Corps taught me to love across all nations, borders, and ideologies. The work I did with the Buddhist Day Foundation, the schools in Rakitovo, and Verina Stojnik and Burgas is still ongoing, and the people of Svoboda, Burgas, and Rakitovo are the organization's lifeblood. I want to give special thanks to the Krivanozova, Klecharova, and Steneva families, to Zelio Zelev, Nikolai Nikolov for making my work wonderful and meaningful. A big thank you to my country directors, Leslie Duncan and Michael Harrington, Phil Rudy, our training director, to all the Peace Corps staff in and out of country, to the medical staff, the finance office, Diliana and security, and Yvonne and Jana, my program directors. The Peace Corps changed me forever, and I loved and cherished every moment I had. And a special thank you to the language directors that taught us how to communicate not only with our minds, but our hearts and our tongues. Благодаря на всички в Bulgaria, които ми направиха съвместното. Ciao and leka nost.